in global trade. We should learn from each other, previous ports and next ports, what is happening, what are your capacities, what is your strategy, what is your customer needs, and then unite our databases and see how we can contribute and erase the hurdles that are still very dominant in all parts of the world. That's my intervention. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now have Dr. Sanjeev Ranjan, Secretary, Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways, just respond briefly to a few of the points made.
At the outset, I'd like to thank you all for the brilliant ideas, suggestions, and messages that you have given. Many of them are part of our Vision 2030, but I am sure the ideas that you have given are of great value to us. One of the suggestions was there with regard to boosting ship recycling. As was mentioned, a few initiatives have already been taken. We have had the new Recycling of Ships Act, which was enacted by the Parliament 2019. We have rules in place. Many of our yards in Alang are Hong Kong compliant, Hong Kong Convention compliant, but with the help and support of the great shipping lines, we continue to strive to further improve the facilities we have for them to be able to have world-class facilities in terms of hazard waste handling. And I'm sure our partners in Europe, our partners in East, and shipping lines across the world will find India as #1 eco-friendly shipping destination for the world. And this is part of the announcement made by the Honorable Finance Minister in our budget this year, where we expect, with all the proactive steps as has been suggested by the speakers, become #1 recycling destination for all of you, doing things in a manner which the industry will support and find it something which meets their standards, meets their requirements. The other, one of the points with regard to making containers in India, I think, is the need of the hour for the entire shipping community for the world. We in India are fully geared up for that. We have a new land policy which is in the making. Many of our ports have enough land parcel available with them to be able to create the kind of ecosystem that was suggested. Our Honorable Minister is committed to making sure that the shortage of containers which the world faces, India has to play its due role. And in addition to making the required facilities in terms of land and energy source, we are already working on creating this kind of ecosystem at 2 or 3 of our ports, and I'm sure working with some of you who are interested, we should be able to make it work for both of us and for the shipping community in the world to overcome the shortage of containers that we face. The experience and example which Amsterdam Port gave with regard to the ecosystem that they have created for the entire metropolitan area, our Vision 2030 also has some ideas borrowed from what you said. We are trying to develop a community around our ports, which is just not marine transport, but also coastal shipping, also waterways, also urban transport. That is why the vision, instead of just being ports, has 3 major pillars, including ports, shipping, and waterways. And we would like to have our ports becoming communities which work hand in hand across all modes of transport. and therefore having multimodal kind of linkages with all ports is number one priority of the government, and that we think is one of the prime ways of bringing down the logistic cost and making ourselves efficient. The other ideas with regard to digitalization, making our operations paperless, are again the priorities which we have articulated in our vision. 50 plus initiatives for digitalization have already been listed out. Many of them are already in the making. And we, with the help of the experience which all of you have brought to the table, should be able to implement more such initiatives in our ports and ensure that the kind of ecosystem that we provide you, both in terms of port operations and the custom facilities, meets your requirements. And we can build up on this partnership. We are open to having more of these digital, paperless, and other tools which make our operations transparent and making them cost effective. We are committed to it, and we look forward to working with you to make these initiatives actually happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev Ranjan. Let me again try Mr. Rizwan Sumar, Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director, Subcontinent DP World. I see your camera is on. Please, you can go ahead.
Thank you very much, and very, very sorry for the technical glitch. Honorable Minister, I thank you for your visionary leadership with the Maritime Vision 2030. It involved very active engagement across the industry, and these inputs that we gave, were all accepted. And thank you very much for the very aggressive Maritime Vision 2030 that you and the team have put together, Honorable Minister. The list of initiatives like the major port authorities bill will give us a lot more flexibility and autonomy going forward. I thank you too for the rejuvenation of the PPP in the port sector and for relooking at the whole framework, especially the model concession agreement. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for that. Minister, there is a sufficient competition in the market for PPP terminal operators, and therefore market forces should be allowed to determine tariffs. This is just one humble request. And I'm very confident that the initiatives and the targets that are set up as part of the Maritime Vision 2030 will go a long way in ensuring that the private sector will go hand in hand with the Honorable Prime Minister's vision of becoming a 5 trillion economy. Thank you very much for interacting and listening to the industry voice, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Rizwan, for that. May I now go back to Mr. Gerben Egging, the CEO of Royal IHC Netherlands from Netherlands. Good morning and over to you. You have to unmute yourself, please. You're still on mute, sir, please. Yeah, please go ahead. We can't hear you, sir. You're on mute now again. Please unmute yourself. So may I suggest that you log off and log in again? I'll call you back after the next speaker. May I go to Dr. Anil Sharma, Founder and Chief Executive Officer, GMS Inc. Dubai. Dr. Anil Sharma.
Thank you very much for having me. It's the first time in 25 years that somebody from the ship recycling platform has been invited, so which I truly appreciate, and the vision that the government has done. India, as you know, is today the world's largest ship recycling destination, green ship recycling destination. And the market share has been growing as compared to last year. And I think if those who want responsible recycling, today India remains probably the only option. We heard a speaker from Mansukh echoing that information. There is a debate about EU ship recycling regulation. We are not strong proponents of this regulation simply because there are a lot of gaps in the regulation. It mirrors the Hong Kong Convention, but at the same stage, it has a potential to ban beaching. We believe the way the industry has worked, it can do much more than that. So in today's market, when there are a lot of variations in price, we feel ship recycling needs to be vibrant. And India has been very vibrant because it does two things very effectively. It does one, the 3 R's, reduce, recycle, and reuse. It's been the core of Indian businesses. And the second is what I call the 3 E's. India is very strong in the economic impact it creates in ship recycling, creates great value for money. It is also very efficient. The Indian ship recycling industry is perhaps the most efficient in the world. And the third E, which we all now like, is the ESG component. It has a big influence on environment, social, and governance structure. And thanks to the ministry, all the way from the Prime Minister to the Ministry of Shipping down, the governance has changed dramatically. So all of you, those who have this mindset, especially from Europe, that India is not doing its job well, it's one of the very small people in the print or in the platform that are saying things. But if you go and visit India, you will see yourself. And again, if you don't believe, take my word, please listen to Maersk. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Anil Sharma, for that. May I go back to Mr. Lars Petersen, Group President and CEO, Hempel, Denmark. Mr. Lars Petersen, good morning and over to you.
Good morning, Honorable Minister, and I dare to say customers, because many of you are our customers at Hempel. And Hempel, we develop and manufacturing global coating solutions. And we were originally founded as a supplier of marine coatings over 100 years ago. So the marine business is still at the heart of what we do. But today our reach is broader as we operate in marine, infrastructure, energy, and decorative paint segments. At Hempel, our purpose is to shape a brighter future with sustainable coating solutions. This outlook is at the core of our business strategy, and it informs everything we do as a business. We are committed to drive change for a more sustainable future, both within our own organization and through collaboration with customers and key partners such as everybody on this summit. Also, since India and Denmark have recently strengthened its collaboration through the Green Strategic Partnership, and being a company with Danish heritage, we feel that we have a lot to offer to sustainable maritime development in India. We have already invested a lot of resources into India through our own operations, and our ambitions in India are higher than ever. Recently, we began our journey with a new strategy where we target to double the company. And that would equate in 5 years to roughly 16% per year. But in India, for this year, our target is 40%. So we are very committed to supporting the Indian market and all customers in India. As a partner in India, we are well placed to supply coatings and services around coatings to ensure that assets are produced efficiently, extend lifetimes, cut down on maintenance, and irrespective of that, whether that's a crane, a cargo crane, a tank farm, a pier, a ferry, a container, as discussed before, or of course a marine vessel. We have the expertise and the products. And just to take one example, at last, our products already bring significant benefits. Our advanced hull coating for marine vessels, HempaGuard X7, has saved at least 23.5 million tons of CO2 for more than 2,000 vessels around the world, which has chosen this best sustainable option available. And our commitment to innovations like this that drive down the negative environmental impact is critical to our future strategy. And we want to bring those benefits to the projects that have been discussed in this summit so far. So a big thank you to you, Mr. Honorable Minister, and all of you for inviting me. And I hope we will be able to join together to improve the world around us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Petersen. May I now invite Mr. Raj Chandaria, Chairman, Aegis Logistics India. Again, a request to keep the interventions brief, please.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here for the first time. I'd just like to introduce our company briefly. We are the largest operator of LPG terminals in India. We have 4 such facilities around all the major ports of India, as well as liquid cargoes. We are very excited with the developments that are happening in India. Despite all the problems of the last year, we see a significant improvement in the traffic that is coming to India. We very much appreciate the opportunity for industry to interact with the with this forum, but obviously specific policy changes with regards to land policies, which are, I believe, are forthcoming, would be extremely welcome. I wish you the best for the rest of the summit, and we look forward to a constructive engagement on the ground level when we're able to. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chandaria, especially for keeping time. May I now go to Mr. Guy Platten, Secretary General, International Chamber of Shipping, London. Very good morning to you, Mr. Platten.
Good afternoon, good morning to you all, Honorary Minister. It's a great pleasure to participate in this conference and some very interesting interventions already, and I really welcome the ambitions of the Indian maritime sector moving forward. For those of you who don't know, the International Chamber of Shipping is memberships comprised of national shipowning associations across the globe, and collectively we represent over 80% of the world's fleet. Shipping faces many challenges moving forward as we move post-COVID, but I would like to pay tribute as well to the government of India and the shipping minister for the help they've given in facilitating crew changes over the last year. It's been really very much appreciated. It's been a struggle across the globe to keep crews changed over, but yet ships have continued to deliver the vital fuel, the medical supplies. As we move beyond COVID, though, we must look at the challenges of the future, including trade and the need to make the case for trade and the lack of protectionism. We need to look at greenhouse gas reduction and what we're calling the fourth propulsion revolution with the move to zero carbon shipping. Of course, the ship recycling is what we covered, and in the security as well, we're particularly concerned about the piracy in the Gulf of Guinea. But I look forward to working with the Indian government on all of these challenges moving forward, and of course to INSA, Indian National Ship Owners Association, who I see is also participating in this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that brief intervention. May I now move to Mr. Ingvar N. Matheson, Port Director and CEO, Port of Oslo, Norway. A very good morning to you.
Yes, hello. I don't know if you can see me now. Honorable Minister, Excellencies, esteemed colleagues. In the Nordic countries in general, and maybe in Norway in particular, climate and environmental issues are heading almost all type of conferences, also within the maritime sector. Norway is a very small country with just above 5 million inhabitants. Port of Oslo is likewise a small port in the world. However, Oslo is one of the world's most ambitious cities in the area of environment and climate issues, where the goal for the entire city, including the port, is to cut greenhouse gases with 95% within 2030. Port of Oslo is committed to continue to conduct an open, constructive and proactive dialogue with partners, other ports nationally and internationally, port organizations and other stakeholders to reduce negative environmental impact while exploiting opportunities for improvement and cooperation. Therefore, Port of Oslo wants to, together with the Norwegian Consul General in Mumbai and Innovation Norway, India, to invite to cooperation with Mumbai Port, a JNPT, on environmental issues and climate issues, as well as digitization and other issues of common interest. In the breakup session 5 tomorrow, I will speak further regarding Port of Oslo's perspective on green and sustainable ports. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that brief intervention. May I now move to Mr. Anil Kishore Singh, CEO, Dredging and Inland Waterways, Adani Ports and SEZ India Limited. Mr. Anil Kishore, please.
Good evening and good morning to the other delegates. Sir, I represent the Adani Inland Waterways Initiative, and we have been making a lot of trial voyages and we have made serious voyages as well. So I'll just restrict myself to one request from your from my side, if the government and the authorities can take care of that, it will be a great boost. National Waterway 1 has received a lot of attention. A lot of work has been done, and it is reaching the critical mass, and the depth is available for trade to take up and start doing voyages over there on a regular basis. Initiatives have been taken. Similar attention is required for National Waterway 2 and the Indo-Bangladesh Protocol routes, because the more the number of routes which are open, they will help this business to grow. Inland Waterways is going to be an Indian business. It will be very much a excellent fit for the Atmanirbhar initiative we talk about. Inland Waterways has to be done by Indians here in India. And my request is to look at the National Waterway 2 segment also with the same focus as has been done for National Waterway 1. Thank you.
Thank you. May I now ask Dr. Sajeev Ranjan to briefly respond to some of the comments made.
Thank you once again for the insights that you've given. I'd just like to update on some of the suggestions that were made. With regard to the inland waterways, the government is committed to developing the National Waterways 2, the protocol route, and beyond, to make it actually work for all of us, to ensure that the entire community around the ports work together to make it happen. Only recently, last month, the Brahmaputra Program was announced by the Honorable Prime Minister, which has all the components of developing NW2 and NW16, as has been done for NW1 under the Jal Mal Vikas Program. I'm sure you'll find it encouraging, and working together, we should be able to make these routes carry cargo from the ports of Haldia all the way through these waterways to destinations in the northeast, and through NW1 all the way to Varanasi. The intervention with regard to LPG terminals made by AG's Logistic is absolutely a point on which I think is very relevant for what we just mentioned. Today, thanks to the program of distribution of LPG cylinders, we have an exponential increase in demand of LPG in the eastern part of the country. This would require substantial investment in logistics for movement of enlarged volumes of LPG in these areas. Doing it by rail or road is going to be a huge investment, and the associated hazards that go alongside. The development of NW1 and NW2 and 16 and the protocol route, which is already happening, with much lesser investment, we should be able to have large volumes of LPG moving through these waterways. And I think the AG's Logistics is already working on it. Of the many MOUs that have been signed in the last 1 month, one of them has been on the movement of LPG with the Inland Waterways Authority of India. The developments on NW1, 2, 16 and the protocol route, along with the growing market for LPG and such commodities, I think opens up a new host of sectors where my friends can look at and come forward and reap the benefits. The intervention made with regard to doing away with the tariff fixation has already happened. We have had the new Ports Authorities Act, which has been enacted. The old arrangement of the tariff authority, which was there, would get replaced by a more market-driven kind of a mechanism for fixation of tariff. I'm sure the industry is going to welcome that. And with that, we expect a larger investor interest in the large number of PPP projects which are going to come on board. With regard to the seafarers, I thank you for the mention made. Thanks to Honorable Minister's support and guidance, we, during the COVID times, the most challenging times, have gone overboard to make sure our seafarers are able to disembark at various ports without much of a hassle. We were able to put in place protocols to take care of the global concerns with regard to health and safety, but at the same time, we didn't lose the humanitarian concern with regard to the seafarers, and India was one of the first few countries to make sure that the shipfarers could come back home in time. We had SOPs in place which could move the seafarers from the ships to the shore, and also by the bubble channels that we have opened on our airways to go to destinations all over the world. And I would urge upon I would thank the shipping lines who have worked together with us to make sure the growing seafarer community that we have, we are given full support, and we would like to continue to work with you to make sure that our seafarers who work for you work with their interests being taken care of, and we are there to take care of the interests of the seafarers and the people who engage them. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary, for that. We now move to Mr. Alexander Yebelushin, who is the Deputy Director General, JSC Shipbuilding Corporation from Russia. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Alexander. I represent Akbars Shipbuilding Corporation. It is located in Russian Federation, just in the middle of Russia. Akbars Shipbuilding Corporation comprises 15 companies and enterprises with a total number of employees of about 11,000 persons. The main lines of activity are shipbuilding, design engineering, tool engineering, machine engineering and metallurgy, manufacture of large size metal structures, ship repair, manufacture of shipboat equipment, training, etc. The focus area of corporation is shipbuilding. Our company has experience in construction of different types of vessels for different purposes. Displacement type vessels up to 300,000 tons. Different high-speed vessels, fishing vessels, dry cargo, and really very wide range of different types. Last year, we completed the construction of first in the Russian Federation river passenger pleasure cruise boat, Chaika, the engines of which run on LNG. The use of gas engine fuel in water transport can reduce the emission of harmful substances into the environment, reduce the cost of operation, and increase investment effectiveness. The design and construction of river bunker vessels with LNG engines are underway. Our corporation is ready for cooperation. We are flexible enough, and if necessary, we will be ready for any interested party send additional information. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for that brief intervention. May I now move to Mr. Tomotori Terai, Managing Director, Hitachi Zosen India Private Limited. You can mute yourself and speak, please. I see it's back. Checks. Just okay, so I believe that Mr. Gerben Egging, CEO Royal IHC Netherlands, is back with us. May I invite you to speak, please? Good morning, and over to you.
Good morning, Honorable Minister and distinguished participants. Thanks for the opportunity to participate in this important summit in India. And sorry for the delay, but we had a problem with the noise. To briefly introduce Royal IHC. Royal IHC is world market leader in the building of dredgers. And we are doing business in India already since 1926. So almost 100 years. And to prove that, I can show you this brochure. Probably you cannot see it from this distance, but this is a brochure from 1966, when we were already 40 years active as IHC in India. So we have a long-lasting relation. And one of our clients is present, so you can always ask him about the quality of our vessels, and that is the esteemed company Adani, but many other clients, of course, in India. We are now entering a new era, a new phase, where we built vessels in the beginning in the Netherlands and imported them into China, into India. We are now going to participate in the program of building in India. So the next dredgers we hope to produce in India. And for that we signed an MOU with the dredging company India, DCI, but also with Cochin Shipyard. We really appreciate this program built in India because it increases the jobs in India, of course, and we will also create a transfer of knowledge from our country to your great country. We are very committed to make this program a success because this is the future of India and our long-lasting relation. I hope that we will be able to continue that in a new form, where we build in India instead of building in the Netherlands. We aim to do another 100 years of business in India, and we think that this Building in India program can contribute to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. May I now move to Commodore Ashok Khaitan, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, L&T India. Commodore Ashok Khaitan, please. Could you unmute yourself? Yes. May I now move to Mr. Arun Sharma, Executive Chairman, IR Class India. Mr. Arun Sharma.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Thank you for the opportunity to participate in today's discussions. We at the Indian Register are primarily an Indian classification company. Whatever you need to build in India, we can do design approvals, we can do all kinds of strength analysis. And going forward, when we look at the future shipping, I think one of our key areas where we can help owners is to look at your emissions, which are going to be extremely important going to 2030 and 2050. In fact, we can record your emissions, we can analyze your emissions, and at the outermost case, we can even suggest ways to reduce your emissions, both for the existing ships as well as for the new builds, which are coming online. We, part of our industrial group, we can do a lot of things in certification in the areas of oil and gas, power, infrastructure, where the opportunities are huge for us to collaborate with all of you. We already have spoken a lot, both in the plenary as well as in this discussion on the recycling industry. And I can assure you, Honorable Minister, that India has come a long way. Alang has come a long way as far as recycling is concerned, with respect to the quality standards which are now internationally acceptable. A number of yards have been certified to meet the Hong Kong Convention. In fact, the Indian Register has been involved with the yard owners in Alang for the last about 5-6 years, from creating awareness to acceptance of upgrading their facilities, meeting the standards, guiding them to meet the requirements of Hong Kong Convention, and even being a certifier for the EU yards. I think one area which probably is overplayed by negative influences that we are still not meeting the international standard, which is not true, which has been brought out. But I think what we really need to look at very seriously and be committed to mitigate and eliminate is the disposals from the yards, the control of environment, both with respect to the seawater as well as the ground level water, with respect to testing of soil, and with respect to the communities living in Ireland. I think that's an area if we can achieve and fix a nodal agency and the responsibility to look into those areas and bring them up to standard, I think we would be probably the #1 standard yards in the world. I think with that, I will not take much more of your time. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, and the other participants for your time. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. I will just quickly call upon the next speaker, Harry Dear Leger, International IWT Expert Advisor and Partner at STC Nestra, BV China and European countries, Netherlands. Over to you, please. Good morning.
Yes, good day to you, Honorable Minister, distinguished delegates. I would like to confirm STC Nestra's commitment and continued support to the maritime sector in India, especially in the field of port hinterland connectivity and improving port hinterlands with waterway connections, capacity building in the widest sense, and inland waterways development in general. I was extremely pleased this morning in the inaugural session with the words of the Honourable Minister, where he said that the Eastern Waterways Grid would be developed, that there would be an enforced development and support to freight villages along the waterways. There would be increased attention for fleet improvements, especially in the field of greening and sustainability. I think those are the areas that, for inland waterways at least, would be very important for the future. And we wish you success in achieving these goals. We are there to give support. I thank you, Honourable Minister, for the discussions we had on this issue, and we hope that we are able to continue those discussions in the manner that we did. Thank you for inviting us to participate in the CEO Forum, and I give the floor back to the Chairman.
Thank you for that very, very brief intervention. Now may I invite Mr. Andreas Knudsen, Director General, Danish Maritime Authority, Denmark. Good morning and over to you.
Thank you very much, and good morning to everyone, distinguished delegates and Honourable Minister. Thank you very much for inviting me. Listening to the interventions at the summit today, I would say that besides the current historical challenging situation with the COVID-19 pandemic, the development of green and sustainable shipping is on the absolute top of the agenda for all of us. Now, we can only be successful on this agenda in finding solutions if we work together at the international level. And on that note, we are very, very happy that Denmark and India have established a strong maritime cooperation with a particular focus on green shipping. And green shipping is also an integral part of the Green Strategic Partnership between Denmark and India, which was signed by our Prime Ministers in September last year. And I just want to stress that we look very much forward to further enhance the cooperation between our two countries. To be brief and conclude, I would say that the development of a more green and sustainable maritime sector is also highly dependent on collaboration of companies and stakeholders from all parts of the value chain, across sectors and between countries. And I would say that the large number of participants here at the impressive Maritime India Summit clearly indicates the huge interest among participants in working closer together in finding solutions. So in closing, I am looking very much forward to continuing the valuable cooperation with India in pursuing green and sustainable shipping to the benefit of all. With this, thank you again for inviting me, and I look forward to the cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the intervention. May I also go to a colleague of yours in Denmark, Ms. Annie Stephensen, Director General and Chief Executive Officer of Danish Shipping, Denmark. Ms. Stephensen.
Thank you very much indeed, Honourable Minister, Secretary, friends. Thank you very much for inviting me to this fantastic distinguished summit today. Denmark is the 5th largest shipping nation in the world measured by operated tonnage, and stay assured that Danish shipping continues to be committed to India. There are several burning maritime platforms where both India and Denmark benefit from close collaboration. And we've heard a number of them today, from green shipping to crew change to vaccination strategy and so on. In my short intervention, I will continue to say a little bit about the topic that has also been mentioned by others, the question of the end of life of our ships. I agree with the Secretary, Dr. Ranjan, that during the last 5 years, a growing number of the recycling facilities in Alang has undergone significant improvements due to a combination of investment from responsible ship owners led by Maersk, progressive recycling facility owners in Alang, and last but not least, a tremendous effort by the Gujarat Maritime Board as well as the authorities in Delhi. Danish shipping has followed these positive developments closely, and we warmly welcome India's ratification of the Hong Kong Convention. However, we are faced with the constraints laid out by the EU ship recycling regulation, which at the moment makes it virtually impossible to recycle EU flag ships in India. I'm going to be frank and encourage you to engage in a close and constructive dialogue with the EU in order to defend and make the most of the efforts and investments already undertaken in Alang. And please also to push for a bilateral EU-Indian agreement in responsible ship recycling, making it possible to have EU-flagged ships recycled in India at the highest standards in the future. Responsible shipping nations like Denmark and others, we need India as a credible partner in this effort. And in other words, I have a vision of India to continue to be frontrunner in South Asia and lead the way forward in this area. And I also hope that recycling can be an important part of the closer collaboration between Denmark and India in the strategic green partnership, which was agreed between our two prime ministers last year. In return, I can assure you that we in Danish shipping will continue to support that the EU approves these particular facilities and thereby paving the way for a competitive market based on safe and sound standards. My message to you today is therefore to continue the admirable efforts and to stay in the lead of recycling standards. We will continue to work side by side with you so that we together can continue to raise the standards for responsible ship recycling in the world. Thank you and have a very good last summit. Thank you.
Thank you. May I now invite Secretary, please make an intervention.
I again thank you all very much for very, very valuable sessions given. We'll work in that direction to make some of these things happen, particularly with regard to a bilateral with EU and the other sessions that were made. With regard to shipbuilding, I'd like to inform the learned participants that we already have a scheme to make these partnerships happen by Royal ISG with the Cochin Shipyard and the Dredging Corporation. That could become the order of the day, where your expertise, our manufacturing base, our market can all be synergized together to make the new guidelines that we have with regard to Make in India, which mandates our public procurement agencies to procure goods valued up to 200 crores from Indian sources. Parallelly, with regard to tug and dredgers, has been a concerted effort that the initiatives like the one which we have recently entered into, we multiply that. We have enough facilities available in India which can partner with houses across the world who have the expertise to do the manufacturing here. The policy initiative, the guidelines, the other requirements that are there are in place. And with regard to more shipyards getting more orders, we would like that to happen on a larger scale. And the suggestions that was made by some of the big shipbuilders, we would fully take them on board to make sure that you find doing business in India, whether it is with regard to the new areas of waterways that is opening up. There's a whole host of new things with regard to ro-ro vessels, ro-ro passenger vessels and ro-ro cargo vessels which are opening up. We have a whole host of requirement of load draft vessels to be able to meet the requirements of metro transport, to be able to meet the requirement of new waterways that are opening. And these all throws up new investment opportunities for which our shipyards are fully geared up and prepared. And with this kind of the classification society and other already institutional arrangements that we have, you would find doing business with our industry in India fruitful and engaging. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Dr. Sanjeev Ranjan, for that. I know it is in the interest of time. We just extend the session by 15 minutes, so just please keep your interventions brief. May I now invite Mr. Samir Gade, President India and Cisco Systems Private Limited. Mr. Samir Gade, please.
Honorable Minister, Dr. Ranjan, Mr. Chenoy, thank you for this opportunity to talk to all of you. I'm different from the others who have been on this call. We are a digital player in India. We've been in India for around 25 years. Over the last 2 or 3 years, we have invested in what we call as country digitization acceleration programs. Around 20 to 25% of that acceleration program, that is around a total of $30 million, we've spent on logistics, and within that, most of it on shipping. In terms of doing new technology interventions. My simple thing is that I think in these times, every business requires digital intervention. There is no business which does not require digital intervention. We'll be happy to sit down with the mega ports, and we are already working with 2 of them to build a digital blueprint for this. But I have only one simple request, sir. As we digitize these ports significantly, what we will need at each of the mega ports is highly skilled digital folks led by a digital officer, a chief digital officer or transformation officer, and a chief information security officer. Because I think those 2 positions are going to be critical over the next 5 to 7 years in terms of making sure that we accelerate the process of digitization of ports. This is a very simple request. It may sound tactical, but believe me, it will change the way we strategically look at the digitization of ports and reduce costs and increase revenue for the ministry. Thank you very much.
Thank you. May I now invite Dr. Cleopatra Dombia Henry, President, World Maritime University, Sweden. Dr. Cleopatra, please. You have to unmute yourself. You are mute.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, I have listened very carefully to this exciting array of interventions and discussions, and indeed, I think that this has been really an interesting, very interesting conference with the range of perspectives being offered. All I can say is that there is a very important component that I'd like to add: the importance of education and training. We cannot emphasize that more. In order to ensure that we have a sustainable maritime and ocean sector, we really need to ensure that we educate, train, and build capacity around the world, so that, and not just for developing countries, but for developed countries as well. And I just want to identify the importance of supporting the industry, and most of you are coming from the industry here. How is the industry supporting the university to ensure that it can continue to build that capacity for the maritime industry, particularly considering the huge important developments that are taking place? With a lot of mention has been made to all of the huge developments, including of course the impact of technology, that technology is having. A lot of young people today are going to need being exposed to these new developments. And so I really would like to see the industry, just governments and the industry invest more in the World Maritime University to ensure that it can remain the beacon of maritime education and training for the international maritime community worldwide. So these are my few remarks, and I hope you can take them into consideration and ensure that the university, which is self-funded, needs the support of governments, of the industry, and of course, to ensure we can meet the objectives and the mandate given to it by the International Maritime Organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Better, for that brief intervention. May I now move Chief Felder, who is the Managing Director of Mansukh in Denmark. Mr. please.
Thank you very much, and namaskar. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you, Minister Mandaviya and to Vicky for the invitation. My colleague Henrietta covered a number of important topics, and to hone in on the subject of digitization as it relates to the Indian and South Asian context. As the global economy recovers from the worst of the pandemic, we recognize that for any industry and company, COVID-19 has in fact been a very effective chief transformation officer. And one clear aspect of transformation has been the acceleration of digital adoption at an unprecedented rate. Government is at an advanced stage now of designing the national logistics policy, which has further aided this drive by targeting inefficiencies in the systems and aims to reduce end-to-end logistics costs, which I believe will be catalyzed and enabled through widespread adoption of digitization. A recent study into the total transport and logistics costs for import-export containers transiting through the port of Nhava estimated that improved document flows and supply chain visibility offered by digital solutions such as traders could potentially save $260 million a year in lower transport and logistics costs for the industry. And if you extrapolate that across other Indian ports, that savings nationwide could reach over $860 million a year. TradeLens is a neutral platform that connects all stakeholders in the supply chain and shares data for everyone's benefit. And adopting blockchain-powered technology will benefit all stakeholders across the value chain. Many have already been onboarded and are sharing and receiving data, and we sincerely hope to see the rest come on board, especially customs. And I think with customs inclusion, this would accelerate and catalyze the remaining stakeholders to come on board and accelerate the digitization of global trade in India. And I'd just like to borrow the Indian phrase in this regard, ek aur ek gyara hota hai. 1 and 1 makes 11. We can really achieve this together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. May I now invite again Valentin Nakhordin, Head of Marketing and Sales Department, JSK, United Shipbuilding Corporation in Russia.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister, dear summit participants. First of all, I would like to thank the summit organizers for creating this opportunity to share and learn valuable information. Let me be brief. United Shipbuilding Corporation is the largest shipbuilding company in Russia. And it has a long-lasting, mutually beneficial history of cooperation with India. Our collaboration in civil shipbuilding at the moment stands at the point where Indian side had confirmed their interest towards conceptual projects of dry cargo vessels, tankers, vessels for transporting cars, and ferries of rural type, as well as high-speed passenger hydrofoil vessels, which were developed based on the result of joint consultations. However, we have more than that. The Russian shipbuilding industry is in a possession of a significant number of breakthrough technologies and prototypes of ship equipment. And especially considering the Make in India initiative, our proposal for further development of Russian-Indian cooperation is to introduce modern breakthrough technologies through collaboration on an innovative project of a new ship that could be built at an Indian shipyard using our prototypes. United Shipbuilding Corporation counts on the support of the state bodies of both countries, since it believes that the project can not only become an example of mutually beneficial cooperation, but also demonstrate a new level of relations between Russia and India. I would like to once again thank all the summit participants and say that we are open for strategic partnership with the state of India. Thank you.
Thank you for that. May I now invite Mr. Koji Wada, Chief Free Representative India, Mitsubishi OA Lines. Over to you, Wada-san.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, it is our privilege to attend this forum and show our view to the honorable here. MOL consider net zero GHG emission as our key challenges ahead for shipping industry. In response to IMO strategy on reduction of GHG emission from ships, we enacted MOL Group Environmental Vision 2.0 in July last year, which makes our clear commitment, including the attainment of IMO objectives. In this vision, we MOL set 3 mid or long-term targets. Firstly, by 2030, we deploy commercial net zero GHG emission deep sea vessel. Second, by 2050, we reduce total annual GHG emission from the ships by 50% compared to 2008. Thirdly, we achieve net zero GHG emission within this century and partially to achieve earlier. For achievement on the target, we introduced 5 initiatives. Number one is introduction of clean alternative fuel like LNG. Second is introduction of energy saving technologies like Wind Challenger project. Number 3 is boost operating efficiency to utilize the AI system. Number 4 is build business model that enable net zero. Number 5 is expansion of low carbon business, such as FSRU, LNG to power ship, and renewable energy. And also in India, as MOL Shipping India Private Limited have signed MOU with Inland Waterway Authority of India, Ministry of Shipping, Government of India, in presence of Indian Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Honorable Sri Mansukh Mandaviya, last week, Thursday, 25th February, as an effort for providing LPG logistics solution in India by utilizing the vast Indian inland waterways. Our objective is to study and try providing an interrupted supply of LPG in most safer, most eco-friendly, and most economical transport modal movement. We wish to support Indian government initiative as Maritime Program as model shift for reducing the logistics cost and the social scheme as Ujjwala Yojana by transporting LPG through inland waterways. Thank you very much for giving time for presentation. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Wada-san, for that brief presentation. May I invite Ms. Jenny N. Bratt, CEO, Danish Maritime, Denmark, please.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister of India, ladies and gentlemen, it's really a pleasure for me today to be able to attend this CEO forum as a part of the virtual Maritime India Summit. As said, my name is Jenny Bratt. I'm CEO of Danish Maritime, representing the Danish maritime industry. Several of our members already now have long-standing and close commercial ties to the India maritime industry, and my organization have for many years engaged in several activities in promoting stronger maritime cooperation between Denmark and India. We therefore warmly welcome the agreement reached in September last year between our governments. I believe that this green strategic partnership between India and Denmark will be the basis for a long and continue and even stronger cooperation. The Danish maritime industry are focusing on green and climate-friendly solutions. We have several of the global leading companies and have had a focus on green maritime technology for many years. We therefore believe that through develop a close cooperation and partnerships, we will continue to be better. We have therefore and are therefore consistently seeking common interests, bringing together unique knowledge And this way of cooperation has contributed to our very, very strong position on green maritime technology. We are aware of India's strong maritime ambition set out in the 2030 shipbuilding vision, which we would like to congratulate you with. And we believe that our way of cooperation in Denmark and our maritime technologies, know-how and solutions can make a difference in that regard. One very specific and very concrete area in which we think we could start a cooperation is in building and upgrading already existing ferries in order to reduce the negative environmental impact from them. We can make them more green and sustainable. As Denmark, as India have both long coastlines, and we have a lot of islands where ferries are very important for the infrastructure. I therefore hope that Denmark and India can enter into a discussion on how we can implement such projects in bringing India and Denmark or both of our industries in a next level. We believe that joint know-how, upgrading in skills, we fully agree education is very important, and of course the financial resources we can make and invest in the future and make the infrastructure in India in a higher level for the greening and sustainability. So we really hope and look forward for continued good cooperation and also for concrete projects. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Raj. We have two other interventions from Denmark, so I'll quickly call them. Apologies to the Indian CEOs. We just get our foreign guests first to speak, then come to you with that. May I invite Mr. Henrik Sorensen, Group CEO, Esme, Denmark. Mr. Sorensen, please. Unmute, Mr. Sorensen.
Very much. I enjoy being part of this CEO forum also. I think so much have been said already, and actually I have not much to add. Next to that, I have enjoyed running a company in India for 5 years now. I've been traveling in India for 30 years, and I've seen the development, and I've seen the development increasing heavily over the last number of years. We also run a company in other continents, and I see India is coming up in the maritime business, and I'm looking very much forward to see that further develop. It is a pleasure being part of this, and I'm looking forward to see where it will grow. Thank you very much for letting me in here, and I wish you a continued good session.
Thank you, Mr. Sorensen. Again, turning to a colleague from your own country, Ms. Irene Rosberg, from the Copenhagen Business School in Denmark.
Good day to everybody. It's a pleasure to be amongst these distinguished people at this summit. I'd like to thank the organizers for inviting me. Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, I've been listening to a lot of the discussions that was already made. And I think one of the elements which should have been, which is on the top of my head is the element of people within this management positions within this industry. As we know, this industry is really the backbone of the global economy. And in order to successfully address the challenges that this industry is facing, we need to equip those who are aspiring to run or eventually lead this industry with the expertise into the critical role of the trade and transport on an international scale. So with the work that we do at the Copenhagen Business School, an executive MBA in shipping and logistics, very widely known as the Blue MBA, we believe that we are grooming the next generation of CEOs for this industry. Now, on the background of the Honorable Prime Minister Modi, and on the basis of the encouragement and efforts and initiatives made by His Excellency Ambassador Soane in India, and with the support of the Danish Maritime Authorities, recently there was a memorandum of understanding signed between the CBS Executive, which is a non-degree arm of the Copenhagen Business School, and the Gujarat Maritime University, bearing in mind the high potential of Gujarat area. And we are hoping that we will be able to provide some of the expertise that we have to educate the future leaders of the industry in India through this collaboration. I also like to mention one last point, and a lot of people, starting with Henriette in the beginning, have been talking about the recycling of vessels and how fantastically advanced recycling facilities there is in Alang. I take a lot of pride to say that the person who is really leading that initiative, leading that activity, is one of our Blue MBA graduates. And we like to believe that the expertise, the tools that we provided him has contributed to the success that he has had in this effort, in his efforts. I thank you very much for your invitation and wish you all the success. We are here if there is anything we could do to help. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I'll turn back to India for a brief word. Mr. David Espina from Exim Bank. Are you there, please, David? Okay, Mr. Raj Singh, CEO of Heritage. Mr. Raj Singh, you unmute yourself, please. You're muted. Unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes.
Please go ahead. Who's this guy? Yeah. Hello. Okay, we'll come back to you. Can we go to Mr. Rajiv Agarwal, Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director, SR Ports, please? Rajiv Agarwal from SR. Hello, Rajiv, do you hear me? Your hand is up. We can't hear you. If you're raising your hand. Okay. Raj Singh, are you back again? May I now go to Mr. Devesh Srivastav from General Insurance Corporation of India?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is Devesh Srivastav from General Insurance Corporation of India. Very pleased to be part of this seminar and this India Summit 2021. We, as a reinsurer, have been very actively supporting the maritime industry in India, and we look forward to extend our role even further and take it forward in tune with Vision 2030 and make India a real maritime hub for the entire Southeast Asia. Thanks very much, and I wish everyone all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have Mr. Wim Dillon, International Development Manager, Antwerp Port Authority. Over to you, please. I'll come back to you, Mr. Dhanat Singh. Just come back to you. So from Antwerp Port, please.
Well, thank you very much, Your Excellency, dear participants, dear friends. The Port of Antwerp has always enjoyed a special relationship with India, a proof of which are numerous mutual visits and of high-level delegations, our continuous presence by means of a representative full-time, but also our affiliates PI and APEC, who are very active there. And last but not least, a large number of partnership agreements that we concluded. That being said, if we look at India's ambition today, which is justified to become or if not the major exporter to the world, basically, I think what you need to look at is also a like-minded port on the receiving end. The European Union is definitely a large consumer area, interesting for India, and the Port of Antwerp has all the assets to be that like-minded port at the other end. In these times of pandemic, many companies are re-engineering their supply chains. I think it's also exactly now the moment to really consider whom to partner up with. And the Port of Antwerp is strongly committed to becoming and building a green port. As a proof of that, our recent initiatives like the formation last month of a hydrogen import coalition is a strong mark in that sense. Hydrogen, to our belief, will play a decisive role in the future. And next to that, many other alternatives will secure that the Port of Antwerp will become a green port in the next decades. If you team up with a port like that, I think it will also be to the benefit of the Indian exporters. And in that regard, I would like to make a suggestion. I believe the chairman of GNPT is here today. GNPT is a partner where we have a very long-standing MOU with, a very deep and valued MOU. I think one basis of, next to, let's say, the green aspect, one basis of good trade is confidence. I think if we would put our shoulders together under an initiative of creating, let's say, end-to-end visibility by creating an Indian hub in the Port of Antwerp for distribution in Europe, that would not only support your green goals, but also your trading and economic ambition. So that is the remark I would like to make, and I look forward also to speak a little bit more in depth tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Mr. Raj Singh, please, briefly, quickly. Have you left or? Yes, left. Okay, so can I move to DIG Rajesh Makwana, Deputy Inspector General, Coast Guard, Regional Headquarters from India.
Honorable Minister, sir, and all the cheerful and positive-looking CEOs and all the participants, my namaskar to all. I will take a very, very little time, and my agenda is very, very clear as far as the summit is concerned, is to ensure everyone that our seas are absolutely safe and secure. So all the companies and the shipping, they can go on. As far as the seas of India is concerned, we take care of search and rescue, we take care of pollution response, and we take care of all the other activities in the seas of India and in the Indian Ocean region. So please be rest assured of the support of Indian Coast Guard as far as your trading activities are concerned. And anytime when you will be calling, we definitely will be there to help you out. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you very much for keeping time. And I move to Mr. Steen Michael, Executive Vice President, Chief Commercial Officer from Kerma in Denmark. Good morning and over to you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister and executives. Thank you for this opportunity to talk. Kerma is the largest defense and security company of Denmark. We are a proud provider of radars used in harbors, at coastal surveillance, onboard ships worldwide. In India, we have provided more than 100 radars for all of the coastal surveillance, the major harbors, and are proud to have done that. We are also very committed to, and please excuse me, I'm trying now to speak Indian, Apni Bar Bharat, which means that India strives to become self-reliant. We have actually engaged in transfer of technology, both with Bharat Electronics and with the Tata Group, and have been successful in transferring that. In line with the Danish and the Indian Green Partnership, we can also help when it comes to setting up wind farms. We have a wind farm radar mitigation, which means that you'll be more flexible in where you put up the wind farms at sea. So having worked with your great country for many years now, we look forward to continuing that, and hopefully also be able to see each other in person very soon. Thank you for allowing me to speak at this summit.
Thank you very much. Mr. Rajiv Agarwal, I believe you have joined back from MESA. Over to you, please, Rajiv. You have to unmute and speak, please. No? Okay, may I go to Mr. Jacob Phyllis Sorensen, MDT, Managing Director of the APM Terminals, Pepperberg. Mr. Jacob Sorensen, please, are you there? Mr. Raj Singh, you're back again. If you want to
Yes,
comment upon...
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, we are the largest river cruise operators in India. We operate on National Waterway number 1, Indo-Bangladesh Protocol route, and we have put India on the world map for river cruising in par with the European countries. And also we have new projects coming up in Goa, Kerala, Orissa, as well as linking the holy cities of Ayodhya with Varanasi through the river Saryu, Ghogra, and into Varanasi. So there are new projects and other things. What we need to look at from the whole inland waterways is from the river cruise point of view, that means from the tourism potential. So there are small cities, there are small towns, religious and historical, where we need to look at them, build a little bit of infrastructure for the future and integrate those societies with the river cruise tourism which we have in mind. So I hope that is something which I would like to put my message to. Thank you very much for this opportunity, Honorable Minister and Honorable Secretary. Thank you.
Thank you. May I move to Mr. Arnab Bandyopadhyay, Lead Transport Specialist, Transport and ICT, World Bank Group, India. Arnab, are you there, please? Okay, if I can then move to Mr. Atul Kumar Goyal, Managing Director and CEO, UCO Bank, India. Mr. Atul Kumar Goyal, please.
Yes.
Mr. Goyal?
Yes. Yeah. Very good afternoon to everybody. Honorable Minister of the State for Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Shri Mansukh Mandaviya sir, and Secretary Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Dr. Sanjeev Ranjan, and other dignitary and CEO attending this summit. I am from the UCO Bank. Currently, UCO Bank is providing banking service to bilateral trade between the India and Iran, and this settlement is being made in the Indian rupees. This could be possible on account of the various initiatives taken by the Government of India, further for ease of the business. And considering the importance of the Chabar port for India, we have opened the representative office in Tehran, and as on date, we have settled more than 3,50,000 crore settlement during this trade. UCO Bank is committed and looking forward to provide banking solution to all the needy person. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And then may I move to Mr. Sanjeev S. Vakil, CEO, HIMT India. Mr. Vakil, please.
Yeah, good evening, Honorable Minister, Shri Mansukh Mandaviya, Secretary, and Director of Shipping, Amitabh Kumarji, and Vice Chancellor of IMU, Dr. Mani Shankarji. Distinguished dignitaries around the world joining this forum. Good day to all. So by God's grace, we at Hindustan Institute of Maritime Training, HIMT, are one of the largest maritime institutes in India, having about 4 campuses as on date. Indian MTIs are the best probably in the world, and that's why Indian seafarers are required all over the world by every company. And we were the first to resume the maritime training as well. After the COVID, Director of Shipping and the Ministry has come forward and brought this novel idea of the 3-tier system, which we saw in the morning, and almost 150,000 seafarers have got trained in the last 9 months. So using these trends, I think technology, I think Indian administration is moving forward, And I think they're signing MOUs. We also signed up few MOUs with the Director General of Shipping, and which includes expansion of maritime training institutes in Gujarat, Chennai, and overseas, and also the higher education programs in collaboration with World Maritime University, which again has been a dream that we would like to be a part of World Maritime University, have Indian chapter inaugurated soon. In addition to these R&D facilities, we'll also like to diversify into the future autonomous ships, finding out the gaps in the training between today's training and autonomous ships, which is the way which we'll take forward. And we are going to invest on that. And also the reskilling of the shipyard workers of Alang. We'll try to do that also in due course. Our request would be also to see and consider if we can have the foreign seafarers also open up and come for the competency courses in India, which probably otherwise people do go to other nationalities, but India is doing well, and Indian exams are a robust system in the world, and I'm sure that I think we'll have even the foreigners from other pre-C institutes of foreign countries also come to India. Certainly the biggest challenge today is the training slots globally. I've been speaking to various administrations, and I think they do have, this is a challenge which is going on. But I would request the Honorable Minister to see if even the foreign companies who are there, probably everybody has this training slots on board become mandatory, as at least Indian administration is doing it across. Now the Indian companies are doing it across. No doubt the Indian e-governance is excellent. I think it has come a long way, and it's in a click of button. I think all the stakeholders, like from shipping companies, seafarers, everybody could do it. Seafarers being the largest stake, the Maritime Vision 2030 declares that doubling of jobs from 2.5 lakhs in 2020 to 5 lakh jobs in 2030, and I'm sure with this ministry, the administration, with the dynamic personalities here, and the minister here, we could surely achieve this, because in the last 4 years, probably we have doubled the jobs from what it was, number of seafarers. We have doubled it from about 1.25 to 2.5 today, and I'm sure 5 lakhs is not a, is a very easy achievable figure. So finally, I would like to end by just saying that, okay, we would like to contribute in all possible ways for making the Atmanirbhar Bharat of our Prime Minister of India, Honorable Minister of India. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And apologies. I actually missed out Mr. Solentov from MSC Mediterranean Company. Over to you. Good morning, and apologies. I request you to please address us.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, Secretary, distinguished guests. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm the CEO of MSC. It's a leading shipping logistics company, also very engaged in terminals, cruise shipping, towage, and a few other things. Thank you for the chance to speak briefly. Firstly, I hope everybody is safe and sound in these unprecedented times. Indeed, it is very unprecedented times also for the global supply chain. And indeed, our company is very, very focused on India. You may not know, but we are moving 1 in 5 containers in and out of India, so 20%. And this year alone, we have the last 6 months alone, we have started new services to the US and to Africa, because we really believe in India, and we see a tremendous growth. We have nearly 1,000 colleagues in India across 16 offices, 23 sub-agents, so we are represented everywhere in 14 ports, and obviously with a stake in Mundra. What I would like to briefly address are 5 to 6 points. Firstly, 72% of business comes from small, medium enterprises. And that is a very clear indication that we need to help all these companies, these great Indian companies, with the supply chain. So we need to make sure that the inland transportation, which accounts for a significant part of the Indian business, is being developed and built out. That's number one. Number two, we need to make sure we have stable maritime policies that are consistent and helping our customers grow. Thirdly, many people have mentioned we need to digitize transactions in and around everything that we do. This will help grow the Indian economy. This will help grow for all these small, medium enterprises. We are also very interested in developing sustainable recycling, and I'm very encouraged by all the comments in that area. We need India to continue to develop in that direction. And also where we have seen an unprecedented shortage of containers in the world, we very much support and encourage the ability to produce container manufacturing also in India. Finally, I would like to say that given that we are 1 in 5 containers in India, not only are we focused on import and exports, but we would actually also like to be able to do more transshipment in your good country. So also here, more relaxed and, let's say, supportive measures would be necessary. Our company is a leading company in the world in our industry. We really believe in India, and we have basically set ourselves up to grow this year another 10 to 15%, so that we will move in and out of this great country more than 1.7 million TEUs. Thank you for your attention.
Yes.
Yeah. Could we have the last two speakers very quickly? Captain T.S. Ramanujan, Chief Executive Officer, Logistics Sector Skill Council from India. Very briefly.
Very briefly, sir, thank you very much for this opportunity. I have just 2 points, sir. Considering the kind of employment potential that it can generate, ship repair is an area I think we could focus on. The subcontinent abuts the international shipping lanes, and ship repair is an area where a lot of skilled manpower can be deployed. That is number one. The second thing is a regulation for multiple ship-shore services, which can again generate a lot of employment, such as collection of sullage, dirty fuel, dirty oil, ship handling. All these, there is no regulation. If it's regulated, we can ensure that a lot of employment can be generated in these two sectors. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Captain Ramanujan. Mr. Vivek Sharma, Director Ports, Adani, please.
Honorable Minister and all the dignitaries coming to the fag end, very useful session. And from Adani's, we want to say that we are very much inclined with Maritime India vision of the Honorable Minister, and we want to play a very significant role in all sectors that he has enumerated. And today we have divided into 3 parts of our businesses, where transport, logistics, energy and utility portfolio, and the incubator. We are about a $50 billion company with 13,000 hectares of industrial cluster available in our ports. One of the speakers was requesting for the container manufacturing facilities that we can offer in our ports. And we have significant land available. We have a footprint all across India in the entire maritime, almost all the maritime states. And we have an interland reach of almost 90% because we are expanding ourselves in the logistics. So we request anyone who would, all the foreign dignitaries, anyone would like to talk to us, we are available. And once again, we thank you very much for giving this opportunity, though brief, but very useful session. And thank you, Honorable Minister, for inviting Adani.
Thank you. May I actually discount Mr. Grant Holmes, who's the Global Sector Head, Cruise Industry and Inchcape Shipping Services. Mr. Holmes, over to you, the last speaker. If anybody, please raise your hand.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Honourable Minister, for the opportunity to speak. Well, Inchcape is the world's largest port agency network. We carried 10,100 calls in 2019 in 800 ports. And I'm also the Cruise Line International Association representative for India and the wider region, including the Middle East. I have a few key points to increase the growth of passenger calls in India. First of all is the customs charge. The customs charge is a self-evaluation form. It's quite complex to complete cruise lines, and we have a lot of fear about what the actual cost will be because it's not so tangible. So I suggest A, to possibly eliminate it, and B, to make it more tangible and give certainty of cost. The second point is much talk about the infrastructure and superstructure, which I wholly endorse and encourage, such as cruise terminals. However, these cruise terminals need to be appropriate for the right sector, whether it's a mega ship, a luxury ship, an expedition ship, or a discovery ship. And I'll be available to help the Indian government orientate to the sector service. The other thing is processes. Some of the processes are still complex. There's been improvements over the years. However, I feel with digitalization and better processes, this will also calm some of the concerns of the international cruise lines. And finally, the ILO and the IMO, they dedicate seafarers as essential workers. And India did a lot of great work with regards to international cruise transfers and allowing this activity to take place during the COVID-19 protocols. However, I would encourage that it take it a step further and that India leads the way for vaccinating Indian crew, but also international crew. And I think it's something to consider, especially as India has taken a proactive stance with the fabrication of different vaccines, as example, the connection with AstraZeneca. So I think India could really lead the way in this regard. So once again, thank you for the time, and I look forward to engaging with you in due course.
Dr. Sajeev Ranjan, would you have any last comments? Because I think all the sessions are over, or the minister.
Thank you very much. It's indeed been a great experience, great learning, great ideas, great suggestions. Many of them are encapsulated in the vision that we have. The others, I'm sure, would get grounded in the projects that we design and implement to make that vision a reality. It's been great learning for all of us. We look forward to continued partnership, and all the suggestions that you have put on the table, we will seriously consider each of them and make them happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. With that, we come to the end of the CEO session. Thank you very much, and see you in your sessions there, and see you in India when things get over. Thank you very much.
Thank you.